So most of the architecture in Vienna, the Imperial Palace, is all 17th and 18th century apparently. It's very impressive.
So we found a nice street food place right in the middle of Vienna, and it's just loads of stalls. I think, did you film it, Louis?
Yeah. Every kind of food imaginable. Almost like back in England, we got Dingworth Dining Club near Birmingham.
Better.
This is better, definitely better. You got Australian, Chinese, Vietnamese, Indian. Every food you could think of, I think they have, and this is definitely my favourite. Chinese, I think.
So the first thing you're greeted with is the outdoor walker, and if you're horsey you'll know that walkers are usually round, but this one is an oval shape, so they get to have straight sides. Apparently it's the biggest one in Europe, well, the world she said, but I'm not too sure about that. And then you're taken into the indoor riding arena, which is their only riding arena, and as you can see it's a very grand building. It used to be used as the Houses of Parliament as well as the training and performance area for the horses. It is still used as a ballroom and can be hired for weddings. They put a floor down on top of the sand. You can imagine that's very expensive. And at the end there is a portrait of Emperor Charles VI, who commissioned the building and who brought the Spanish horses over from Lipizzaner. And that's why it's called the Spanish Riding School of Vienna, because all the horses are Spanish.
Sigla Lipizzaner and Conversano Bonaboya, two beautiful Lipizzaner Stallions.
Then we were taken into the main tack room, and they have their performance saddles, their training saddles at the bottom, and they have their training bridles, and then the higher level horses have their double bridles. So there is different levels of tack for different levels of horse. Each has their name, each saddle is custom fit to the horse, and so is each bridle. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of tack. So the horses don't stay in the city all the time, they are rotated round. I believe it's about 70 horses at a time that stay in the city. They have another stud farm out in the countryside in the south of Austria, where the mares are, where the foals are bred, and where the retired stallions live. So it's only stallions that perform, and it's only stallions that live in the city. They compete some of their geldings and their mares, mainly in carriage driving, that's quite popular over there, and they only select the best colts for the riding school. So obviously they have some that don't get picked for the riding school, so you can buy them, they are up for sale. They're lovely mannered horses. Interestingly, they all have female names. So the way that they are named is their last name is the sire, so the stallion, and they come from only 5 original bloodlines. So they all have the same name. So they do the last name and then a number. So I don't know, so and so the first, or so and so the second, and then their first name is their dam name, their mother's name. Funnily enough, all the stallions have female names. So they have their mother's name and then their sire name and then numbers to correlate with how far down the breeding table they are. That was quite interesting. And the horses that are put on the inside, which is what you can see on the video facing the courtyard, they are reserved for horses who are a little bit COPD, who have, you know, certain allergies. And then inside it's like a normal stable block with corridors and stables facing each other. We weren't allowed to film in there. So yeah, it was very, very interesting. Apparently you can apply to be a rider and it's a full-time job. You are taken as an apprentice but you get paid. You work your way up the levels and you go to a apprentice rider and then you become like a master rider and you have a team of stallions underneath you. When you become an apprentice rider, you're given your first stallion, which has just been broken, and you take it through the levels, and when it reaches the very highest level, then you get to show it off in the performance, and then you graduate to the next level of rider, and then that's when you have your team of stallions.